Tao Te Ching Chapter 6. The spirit of the valley is deathless, the nameless mother, origin of all things. Her unseen threshold gives birth to heaven and earth. Subtle as breath, ever present, ever flowing. Draw from her. She will never run dry. As a spiritual seeker, you long to return home, to rediscover your true nature, to transcend the illusions of separation, to awaken to what you have always been. But how? Where is the path that leads back to the source? In Chapter 6 of the Tao Te Ching, Laozi reveals a sacred portal, the Deathless Valley. In the silent embrace of this primordial womb lies the gateway between the unmanifest Tao and the world of form. It is the threshold where creation stirs, not through force or striving, but through infinite receptivity. This is not a path of seeking. It is a path of remembering. The valley does not ask you to climb, to grasp, or to conquer. It invites you to descend into stillness, into emptiness, into the space before all questions arose. Return to this origin, and you will not find answers. You will become the answer. The valley's silence is not the absence of truth, but its living presence. You are what you seek. The gate of the mysterious feminine is the root of heaven and earth. Let us step across this invisible threshold and explore the Deathless Valley, the gate of the mysterious feminine, the root of heaven and earth. Before we begin, if you're ready to unlock the spiritual treasures of the Tao Te Ching, join us, hit subscribe, tap the like button if this resonates with you, and share these timeless teachings with fellow travelers on the path. Your support helps keep the wisdom flowing. The spirit of the valley, the deathless source of creation. The spirit of the valley never dies. In a world drowned in noise, there exists a silent valley, beyond words, yet holding the secret to all. To the ordinary eye, it remains veiled in silence. But to the Taoist cultivator, it is the inescapable path to transcendence. A journey inward, where the alchemy of true awakening begins. It is an inner journey toward the doorway concealed beneath the surface of existence. A soft, silent threshold where time dissolves, and form returns to formlessness. This is the Deathless Valley. Not a place on any map, but a return to what has always been within you. Here dwells the Primal Mother, the nameless feminine of the Tao, the subtle source that births all things, and asks for nothing in return. True cultivation is not accumulation. No more knowledge, no more striving, no more grasping. It is the sacred art of release, a burning away of illusions, a hollowing out of the self, until only the valley remains, that primordial silence, that deathless womb, which breathed you into being, and waits to gather you home. This is the practice of unbecoming, peeling away every name you were given, every role you learned to play, until you slip effortlessly back into her nameless embrace, not as a seeker returning, but as the river remembering it is sea. In this valley there is no death, only the eternal flow, a breath beneath breath, a presence that gives without end, and the way back begins in stillness. So seekers, welcome to the path of return. Welcome to the Deathless Valley. But where is this valley? Not a location, but the very ground of being, a sacred symbol, the image of what is low, open, and still. In Taoist thought, the valley is the feminine principle, the yin within all things. It does not rise up, it receives. It does not contend, it allows. And in its quiet allowing, it becomes the cradle of life itself. The spirit of the valley is this subtle, generative force, a power so soft it cannot be grasped, yet so enduring it never ceases to give. It is the breath that moves beneath all forms, the womb of creation that asks for nothing, yet gives rise to everything. It is not loud, not forceful, not dramatic, and that is why it never dies. While mountains crumble and empires fade, the valley remains. Its strength lies in its emptiness, its truth in its silence. To align with the spirit of the valley is to step into the Tao itself, to become soft, open, and humble, to trust the wisdom of stillness and the power of receptivity. This is the gate through which all things are born, and it is always open. However, the valley cannot be found, only embodied. To find the valley, you must become the valley. This is the alchemy of true awakening. Let the valley find you by becoming its emptiness. The mysterious female, womb of the Tao. It is called the mysterious female. Hidden within the valley's silence is a deeper mystery, the mysterious female, the dark and fertile source from which all life arises. She is not feminine in form, but in nature, soft, yielding, fluid, yet unimaginably powerful. She does not push or strive. She unfolds. She allows. And in that allowing, the entire cosmos is born. This is the Tao's generative aspect, the invisible womb of existence. In Taoist alchemy, she is known as the hidden essence Yuan Jing, the original, undifferentiated energy within us. When we descend into stillness, when we return to simplicity, we touch this primal force. It is not something we create. It is something we uncover, something that has always been there, waiting beneath the surface of noise and motion. The mysterious female does not speak, but she sings in silence. She is the mother of all things, and to find her is to find the way home. The gateway, root of heaven and earth. The gateway of the mysterious female is called the root of heaven and earth. This gateway is no ordinary threshold. It is the doorway between the unmanifest and the manifest, between the non-being of the Tao and the being of the world. It is the place where form and formlessness meet, where the unseen gives birth to the seen. This is the origin of all dualities, the root of heaven and earth, the primal seed from which yin and yang emerge, not as opposites, but as complementary forces, flowing from the same source. In the silence of this gateway, creation begins not with a shout, but with a subtle shift, an imperceptible stirring. The spiritual womb of existence is hidden here, where all things are both unborn and already present. In Taoist practice, this gateway is the mysterious pass, a meditative point within the body and mind, where the seeker returns to the source. When we pass through this gate, we step beyond duality, into the stillness from which all polarities arise. Here there is no separation, only the eternal flow of the Tao, of being and non-being, of heaven and earth, of spirit and matter. The subtle flow, continuous and imperceptible. It flows continuously, barely perceptible. The Tao is not a force that demands attention, nor does it make a grand display. It flows silently, in the spaces between breaths, in the moments between thoughts. To the untrained eye, it appears as though nothing is happening. The movement of the Tao is so subtle that it seems to vanish into the stillness, like a current flowing beneath the surface of a still lake. But in the quiet of our being, there is a pulse, a rhythm, a ceaseless flow of energy. It is the inner breath, the returning light, the constant pulse of life beneath form and thought. This subtle movement is the qi, the spiritual energy that sustains all things. Those who walk the path of inner alchemy must learn to attune themselves to this faint vibration, to listen deeply to the silence, and to feel the flow in the stillness. It is a flow that does not ask for attention, but calls to those who are ready to listen. When we learn to perceive this barely perceptible movement, we align with the Tao, becoming one with the endless flow of life itself. The inexhaustible source. Use it and it will never run dry. Use it, it will never run dry. The Tao is an inexhaustible well, a source that cannot be depleted, no matter how much it is drawn from. When we align with it, when we move with its flow, we tap into a boundless vitality that nourishes the body, heart, and soul. It is the spiritual wellspring that feeds all life, and it is always there waiting, silent and ever-present. This is both reassurance and instruction. The Tao is not something to be grasped or controlled. It is not a resource that runs out or wanes. In the world of striving and competition, we often feel we must fight for every drop, hoard and conserve, always fearing depletion. But the Tao works differently. It invites us to stop striving, to root ourselves in its stillness, and to draw from its depths, not through force but through alignment. When we are in tune with the Tao, we do not run out. The more we draw from it, the more it flows, without end. This is the true source of boundless wisdom and infinite energy, a well that never runs dry, always sustaining us, always renewing. Summary of spiritual meaning of Chapter 6. Chapter 6 of the Tao Te Ching invites us to recognize that the ultimate source of all life is silent, hidden, and feminine, not in gender but in quality. This source is nurturing, inexhaustible, and eternal, the spiritual womb from which all creation arises. To align with the Tao, we must embody the qualities of the valley, open, humble, and receptive. In the stillness of our being, we are invited to return inward, to the origin of all things. Here, in the silence, we reconnect with the mysterious gate of creation, the root of heaven and earth, the threshold from which all dualities arise, not as opposites but as complementary forces. This passage is a call to return, not as a mere theory but as a living, breathing reality within each of us. Through deep stillness and attunement to the subtle flow of the Tao, we awaken to the boundless vitality, wisdom, and generative power that is ever-present and inexhaustible. In returning to the origin, we do not search for answers. We become the answer, finding our way back to the source and aligning with the eternal flow of life itself. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoyed the content, drop a 1 in the comments below. If it didn't resonate with you, feel free to leave a 0. Your feedback is incredibly helpful and ensures I can continue creating videos that match your interests. Thank you for being part of our community.